Hey everybody, welcome to Gardening TLC. I am Michelle and today we're going to do a garden tour. Don't you love fresh cut grass? I love the smell of it. I like the way it looks. I just like everything about it. So we are finally at the beginning of spring here in Northern Illinois, and I always like to do a garden tour right at the beginning of the season so that I can see all the progress that I'm going to make throughout the season in the beds that I have, the beds that I'm going to create, and the beds that I'm going to share with you. So come along today and let's check it out. To give everybody a little perception, especially if you're new here, I live on a 2-acre lot next to the garden center. So these are my gardens that are around the house here. I have a tree line, and behind that tree line is 16 acres that I also own. And then I have another full acre lot right here, and that blue house over there, that's not mine, but that's where my property line stops. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what it is that will be touring today. Pretty much all of the gardens that I've created are around the house. I've lived in this house going on 7 years. I do have a couple garden beds that are going into their 6th year, and I have some that are brand new that I just started last year. In fact, you can go back and check out some of those videos. But what I thought I'd do today is kind of chronicle where I'm at in my gardening journey and show you where the beds are now in early spring. I live in Northern Illinois, Zone 5B. Now, we had a very hit and miss spring so far, and we had a warm up in February. I don't know that that really affected a whole lot of what's going on in my garden, and I think some things right now look really fabulous. I haven't done really anything to the garden. Basically, all I did was I cut back my hydrangeas and I cut back my sedum. I pretty much do all of my cleanup in the fall because I'm so busy in the spring with the garden center. I almost have to do most of my cleanup then. So I haven't gone after any weeds yet. I haven't done any mulching, edging, haven't done any of that. But let's take a look at where we're at because I think some things look really nice. This bed right here is a mix of different things going into its 5th year. Some things are 5 years old and some things are brand new that I just put in. This is a Jane Magnolia tree, and when I put it in, I started with a little 5-gallon pot, and this thing was only like 2 feet tall. So in 5 years, it's done a really good job of growing. It's on the tail end now of blooming, but I like this one because it does bloom later in the year, and it seems to hold on to its flowers a lot longer than some of the other magnolias. Plus, I love the shape of this thing. In front of that, we have a whole bunch of sedum that are growing, and these were like from just different people that gave them to me. Now, the one thing I did do in this bed this year was I added a bunch of daffodils and tulips, and what's really cool, you guys, I timed it so that the daffodils and the tulips would be blooming at the same time. So these are the daffodils. They're a late blooming daffodil, and I timed it with a Royal Prince early blooming tulip. I know it kind of looks like Easter, but aren't they just so sweet? I love these bunches, and we just did big drifts of them. Now I'm going to treat these like annuals, and if they come back next year, great, but if they don't come back, I'm okay with that too. We also had a nice patch of hyacinths down here that are also kind of on the tail end, but here we go. We had 2 like big bunches of those. I just thought that those were so sweet when they were blooming, and I can't believe how long these daffodils are still blooming. I mean, they just are going on and on and on. Other things going on in this bed are some summer alliums here. These are the Millennium alliums, and see what I mean when I say that alliums always look nice all the time? That is just a nice looking bunch of foliage on there, and it just looks good all the time, and it's been there for quite a while. Then we have some more sedum coming up here, and you can see where I hit this one with a plow, so I'll have to fix that. You can see where I hit some of my black-eyed Susans too, and pushed all the mulch off the edge of the driveway. We'll fix that later. I also have daylilies in here. Now, the daylilies are one of the things that I'm probably going to pull out of the bed this year. I'm not in love with them. I don't think that they add anything spectacular to this bed, and they're not my favorite flower. There are some that I do like, but I think that if I'm going to have garden beds, I'm going to put things in it that I love. Daylilies aren't one of them, so we're going to be changing some of that out this year. This beautiful shrub right here is a sunset Woodgilla. It's in the Monet series, believe it or not, but it's actually fairly large. I never got around to trimming it last year, so now I'm going to leave it this big, and after it's done blooming, then I will trim it back. Other things in this bed are our hydrangeas here. And even though they're getting more shade than probably this hydrangea wants, last year they got a lot of flowers on them. They colored up really good. So I planted these in the fall, not last year, but the year before, So technically, they're going into their second year. These are the Little Lime Fruit Punch. And then behind that, I have some Sprinter boxwoods that desperately need a haircut. And what I'm trying to do here is grow a hedge on the outside edge of the bed. So there we go. That's what's in this bed. Oh, and then check this guy out. This is our lemony lace elderberry. Isn't this thing so cool? Look at those flowers on there. And I love the bright chartreuse foliage that's on here. Now, the further up you go in this bed, the more shade it gets. So we have some hostas coming up here, and there's another one there. And see, look, isn't it sweet? Now is also the time if you have little weeds in your bed. So like if I come through and I look, see, here's some dandelions. See them right here? Now is the time to get those babies out of here. One, before they go to seed, and two, before they, get any bigger and the root is so deep that you just snap it. So I'll need to get after those this weekend. But I just love this bed. Now, I don't have any pots done. I haven't put I got my hoses out, but I haven't hooked them up. So one more look at that bed. All right, let's go around the corner and check out the next bed. This is one of my favorite beds. It is actually a south-facing bed, and even though it's getting quite a bit of sun right now, you can see that it's flanked by a lot of maple trees. So if you look here, this one here is a big sugar maple right there. And then if you go down, there's a red maple that's next. Then there's a crimson king, and then another red maple down at the bottom. So it actually provides a lot of shade, and this bed gets quite a bit. Now, what I've put in here does really well with the light conditions that I've given it. And I transform this bed by using low bowls of annuals and flanking my sidewalk with annual pots as well. You just wait till I do that. It totally brings this bed to life. Now, in here I have oak leaf hydrangeas, and there's two of them. We have one right here, and as you can see, they've started to leaf out. An oak leaf hydrangea is one that you do not prune, okay, unless you want to cut all your flowers off. Look down inside of here. There is a flower that's going to develop inside of there. And oak leaf hydrangeas bloom on old wood. So the only thing you're going to do in the spring to these is cut off crossing branches or anything dead, diseased, or dying. Your 3Ds, basically. This is an Alice. It gets white flowers on it. I just love it. Next to that, we did do some of our daffodils. And then we've got 3 winter gem boxwoods. And see, these are kind of woolly looking, but I don't know. I kind of like this look here, and I'm probably going to leave it. Behind it, I have some Korean feather reedgrass. It's already starting to produce some growth. And then, see, this is where I'll line my little bowls up. And then I do have some hostas in here. See, that's a June hosta peeking up there. And then we have another hydrangea right here, and this is the Incredible White. Okay, we always fill that pot up with something really super pretty. But there's that little section of the bed, and when we put the annuals in there in the bowls, oh, it just totally brings that whole thing to life. Now, if I swing down the other way, I still have another bunch of Royal Prince tulips that are looking pretty good right now. See, they look pretty good. In here, I do have a Palace Purple Coral Bell and another Korean Feather Reedgrass. In front of that, we have a Patriot Hosta that's starting to bloom, and I need to put something back here into this corner, whether it's another hosta or something. Here we normally put a bowl down right here. All right, another oak leaf hydrangea, followed by 3 more of those winter gem boxwoods. And then if we come down here, we have our Serrata hydrangea. This is a mountain hydrangea. Okay, some more Korean feather reedgrass back there, and then here's some more of our beautiful tulips. This one's called Purple Prince, and I don't remember what this one is called, but I love it. And look inside, it's got a yellow throat. Isn't that, it kind of glows. It's so pretty. Let me see if I can get in there better. Oh, I just think that's awesome. I love those. And then we did clean up our coral bells. Here we have 3 of the citronella, and look at the color on this right now. Isn't that fabulous? That veining in there, and it's kind of got a pumpkin color to it. Then behind it, we've got the Palace Purple, and then there's one of our little goat's beard. We planted 2 last year, and the other one, nope, I don't see it anywhere. So I might have to put another one in here. And then we come around down here, and we have a big leaf hydrangea called Pistachio that I think I'm going to take it out of the garden. It just does not produce. I'm pretty sure I'm just too cold for this guy to be able to ever be anything than a leafy shrub. It never gets flowers. All right, I have done nothing on the back porch. There's no pots filled. It's still a little too cold for us to be able to do that. Here is another lemony lace elderberry here, and I do like that these are staying small. It kind of gives Japanese maple tree kind of vibe, so I really do like it. I like the leaf structure. I like the way it looks. So far I'm pretty happy with that. And then as we come down, oh, my shrubs are finally starting to put on some growth. They sat there for the first couple years. These are viburnums and these are the Mohicans, and I put these in here in the hopes of them getting big and creating a screen for me to block me from the road, which is behind me. This is a bed that you'll be seeing some changes in this year as we add things up and try to button this one up. We do have a bug bane here. This one is in its third year, so hopefully it's going to put on some good size this year. We've got our Hakanakloa grass here. So those are just starting to put on some growth. And then down here we have a little wee white hydrangea, and I hope it makes it because it's not looking, well, it's looking pretty little, but we'll see how that does. All right, and then I've got some weeds in here I need to get after. I haven't planted anything in the herb garden yet, which is in the upper level. The only thing that I've got coming up right now are some chives, and I can see some thyme going right now. And then the hostas are just starting to peak up on the second level. So those are peeking out right here. We had a few daffodils that came in, and then you can see that my Japanese ferns are starting to come in as well. Got something here. I'm not sure. I think those were crocus that were there that we planted. And then you come up here and you can see this is the Walker's Low Catmint Nepeta, and it's coming in beautifully. And then we did some red tulips in here. And see, this is what I mean by as this Nepeta starts getting bigger and my tulips are done, what I'll do is I'll cut back those tulips, and then the foliage from this Nepeta will cover up the dying foliage of the tulips, and then I don't have to worry about cutting them back. So pretty cool. All right, but we'll fill that herb garden in. That'll be a nice project for us to do. All right, and then there's lots of empty spaces down here for lots of opportunity. Right here, there's nothing there. So lots of opportunity for us to be gardening. If I back all the way out, you can see over here, I do have 3 knockout roses. Those are red. Swing around, that's a Bobo hydrangea, and then we have another rose there. We have Veronica that flanks right here, and then we have a Boom Chocolata geranium. Oh, I'm so happy that this guy came back. Can you see him? He's kind of little right now, but he's coming back. And then there's some more Veronica coming up. There's a little bit right there, and there's a little bit right there, and another one down there. And it's interesting because these Veronica over here are a lot bigger. Interesting. Got some overdam grass. This is the patch of gardening that was there when I moved in. Got an upside down pot that the wind kind of blew around. This is our hosta bed right here, and all the hostas are starting to emerge, and they're all at different stages. Some are just looking like little asparagus spears, and some of them are fairly large sized because they open faster. This is my Jacob's Ladder. This one is called Stairway to Heaven. And look at the pink on the edge of the leaves. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? I have it on the edge of the path, so you kind of have to stop and take a look at it. I just think this thing is gorgeous. I have one flanking either side of the pathway. By far, one of my favorite Jacob's Ladders. Then as we pan through the bed, you can see we've got our Jack of Diamonds Brunnera. It's in its second year. We planted it last year for the first time. Look at those beautiful flowers on there. That's like your little bonus. I just love those. They're so pretty. It really brightens up your garden for you, that's for sure. Then we have I don't remember what this one is called, but it is a heuchera. I want to say it's called Peppermint Spice. Don't quote me on that though, I could be wrong. But lots of hostas coming up all over the place. And then we come around the corner and we've got 3 more of our winter gem boxwoods here. Let's see if our Astilbe survived the winter. We had one of the back and blacks. But look, there it is. I hope this guy survives. 1, he was expensive, and 2, he was really cool and full of drama, but he's attempting to come up, so hopefully we'll have him. All right, so there is the hosta bed right there. And if we go up the stairs to the rest of the patio, we've got some nice big hostas in here and another oak leaf hydrangea right here. We're hoping that this one blooms this year. It is in its 3rd year, and last year I didn't get any flowers on it, so we're hoping we get flowers this year. All right, then we have another little path that leads us out. Now, this is an area where we did a design, and this is where we're going to totally change up this bed. This is what I call my plopper bed. And this is where I've been plopping things as I've been rearranging different beds or people have been giving me things. So this bed here, we did a design about this bed when we were doing our shade design series. And I will be totally revamping this bed to that design that we did. So that will be really exciting. So I'm not going to waste anything that's in it. I'm going to transplant all of it to different places because there are some nice plants in here. There's lady's mantle, there's some nice hostas, there's bleeding hearts. There's also some nice lungwort in here. So I don't want to waste any of it. But check out the flowers on this lungwort. Isn't this gorgeous? Oh, so beautiful. And I love the splotchy leaves on a lungwort. And here we go back here. See, here's some Vision and Pink Astilbes, and I don't want to waste those either. See how big those are? But these are 4 years old, so now this is an Elba bleeding heart. Oh, I love this. This was an itty bitty cutting that a friend gave me. And then I have a pink Diacentra too, or an old-fashioned bleeding heart. Look at those. Aren't those gorgeous? Oh. And this guy will get bigger too. So right now he's probably about 3 feet wide and about 2.5 feet high. That's one little plant. And again, he started as an itty bitty cutting, and then you can see tucked in here is another white one that's totally getting gobbled up later in the season, so I do need to move it. And then this is our black lace elderberry, which is totally out of control and needs a desperate haircut, which it will get, but I'm gonna wait till it's done blooming so I can enjoy the flowers. Last year I put a cottage garden in by my big red shed. Can you see I painted it? Anyways, there is a bed that's gonna connect my front bed to this cottage garden that I did. And when I started it last year, I didn't finish it and I pulled the rocks and I didn't like what I was doing. And sometimes that happens. You start something and then you just don't have enough time to get it finished. And then you're like, I'll do it the next year. Well, guess what happens while you're waiting to do it the next year? The weeds come back. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to combat these weeds when we get ready to do this bed, because another one of the gardens that we're going to do this year is the design that we did in front of the big red shed. It's just on the other side of the shed, and we are going to be putting that in. So I'm going to take you through the path where it's got grassy weeds and all, and we're going to go take a look at the cottage garden because everything in there is looking pretty good. I did lose a few things, and you know what? That happens. I don't care how long you've been gardening. Things die. It happens to the best of us. And I just have to regroup, think of either replacing it with the same thing or do I want to try something else? So I always look at that as an opportunity to change something up or to plant something that I've never planted before. But let's go take a look. So the whole goal of this middle part is to bridge two beds together. And at one time I did have all of this cleared out and there were no weeds, no grass or anything in here. Now I did leave some of the boulders in place, but I don't like where any of them are and I'll end up redoing the whole thing. We are going to do a no-till area here, and we're going to be using cardboard, and you might have saw the cardboard stacked up on the back deck there that I've been gathering. And then I do still have my pile of boulders hanging out right there. But you can see I did do a line of daffodils there. And if we swing around to the actual bed here itself, then I think everything in this bed is doing pretty good outside of the chairs that flew over last night in a windstorm. Let me go set those back up. Now that I've set the chairs up and we can see everything, let's take a look. Now, the one thing that will be happening is I am going to move these roses. I think I'm wrong in the type that I have. I don't think they're climbers. I've had so many people make comments, and I don't know if I got something that was mistagged or I read it wrong. Either way, I'm going to dig these up and move them to a different garden, and then I'm going to get different climbers to go on this. And it's kind of frustrating because now I'm like a whole season behind, but that's okay. We're going to just redo those with a different rose. They are looking very healthy, very good. They just need to be pruned back. Our Nepeta looks really good here. We have our Iris coming in. Those are the Cubs Win It. And then this is the Proven Winners Cat's Pajamas. And so those are the taller ones. I really like that. Our Royal Frost Birch leafed out, so it came back and it looks really good. And then if we come in here, I did lose this shrub right here. That was my coral berry, and I'm so sad that I lost it. Or maybe it's a late bloomer. I'm going to give it a little bit and see what happens. But it's not coming back, and it doesn't have any leaves on it, so we'll have to watch that one. Now, outside of all the weeds that I have to get out of here, I did get one of the 3 hollyhocks that I planted to come back. So I had 2 more right there. I don't see them anywhere, so I only got 1 hollyhock. And then this is a Wine and Roses Weigela, and that's coming back. And then if I shoot up here, outside of all the weeds that are in here, it looks like the black-eyed Susans came back, the coneflowers, everything over here came back, the Veronica. We have some daylilies here. Our little Italian ice roses came back, and all of our red twig dogwoods that were flanking the outside edge of the bed, those all look fabulous. And look at our tree. Oh, this is a royal raindrop. Isn't that gorgeous? This is an ornamental crab. I love the flowers on it. It's so pretty. All right, there you go. And then we come over here. We got a Mops Fall Cypress. We had some of the cats' meow pajamas coming back right here, and behind that are hibiscus, so they're pretty small. And then here's another bummer. I had nine, oh my goodness, 9 hollyhocks in here, and only 1 came back. Well, that looks like that one's trying right there. Good thing I did some winter sowing of some more. We're going to try again because I really want hollyhocks. All right, then if we come through here, we do have the peony, the one that we don't know what it is. It's a surprise peony. We rescued it and put it in the ground, but look, it's coming up. It's either red or white. I'm just not sure. And then there's another one right there. So I got to get a cage on those. And guess what, guys? I found the tag to this rose. It is called Calypso. I couldn't believe that I found it. It was like, yay! Oh, I was pretty excited that I found that. And then if I swing here, here's my serviceberry. It just finished blooming. We just missed it. So we now have 3 serviceberries. All right, if we come along over here, we have our pencil point junipers, some more alliums, and then some Veronica around our tulip tree, which is leafing out very nicely. And then one more look this way, we have another peony right here in our agastache there. But all in all, everything for the most part came back. It looks like we lost the hollyhocks, and I don't see any of the delphiniums or lupines coming up, which is kind of a bummer. But it looks like we also lost this little Woodgillia right here as well. This is the one that I didn't know if it was going to make it. It got totally waterlogged after we did the garden, and I was worried it wasn't going to come back, and it didn't. So we'll have to find something else to put there. Okay, so out of the garden we go to the weed area. Yay, isn't that exciting? But I mean, gardens start someplace. All right, here's the big red shed. We're going to be doing a she shed in there this year, so I'm afraid to go in there. It's a hot mess. I've been in there twice since I bought the property, and I have no idea what's in there because all the homeowner stuff that lived here before us, yeah, all his stuff is in there. I've never cleaned it out because I've never needed to use it, and now I want to. Our serviceberry looks really good here, and then we come around to the front bed. Yep, loving this, loving this. This is the one that we revamped in the fall, and this is the holding bed where we put everything for temporary holding, and it looks like almost all of it is coming back. I see daisies, I do see the yarrow. Here is some coreopsis, daylilies. I see some hostas. So everything that we dumped in this bed and then we just kind of mulched around it is all coming up. So if we come up to the bed that we revamped, everything that we left is looking good. We've got a little bit of weeding to do, edging, mulching, that kind of thing. But the sedum is coming in real nice. Our peony's coming in nice. See how we caged that so it'll stay up in the cage. Our white pine looks good. This is our limelight hydrangea, and I must be blind as a bat because you can see the one lone stick that I forgot to prune. So I'll have to get in there and get that because it's sticking up. All right. Then we have our weeping Norway spruce right here. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this thing. It's one of my favorite things in the bed. And then we have our 3 winter gem boxwoods that all need a haircut. All right, back up a little bit. We did leave the yarrow in here. This is the Coronation Gold Moonbeam. We do have a beautiful bird's nest spruce in here. And look at the beautiful growth that's on there when it gets its new growth. It is so bright green. It is so pretty. I just think that this is one of the nicest looking shrubs. I love bird's nest spruce. And when I brought this home, it was almost dead. And I babied it. And I have another one on the other side. Now, this is our Ever Low Yew. And this is the one that I'm going to be moving because I've decided I don't like it here. And I'm going to move it into a different bed somewhere else. And then this is our ginkgo tree right here. As you can see, it's all nice and budded up. So that thing's going to be gorgeous. And then if I swing around, see, there's my other bird's nest spruce. And then we got some hostas back there, a little patch of white cone flowers. And this is a bed that is going to be, again, we're going to be kind of changing up what we're doing. Here's another of those globes that I made. I made a 24-inch one, so I had a bigger one. We're going to be using that out in the garden. And then we have our little quick fire hydrangeas that flank the driveway. So quite a few dandelions in here, though, I need to attack and get a hold of before they get away from me. But this bed, I'm happy with how it looks right now. I'm happy with how wide the path is, and outside of the dandelions that I need to take care of. So now when I'm on the porch, this is gonna look great. Now we also did a design for this area back in December, and I did this side of the bed, and we'll probably be putting that in as well. And then I'll probably kind of sit on the other side for a little bit to figure out what it is that I wanna do over there. Okay, let's walk back through the bed real fast and show you the area where we're gonna do the design in front of the big red shed on the other side. This was the video that I did where I talked about the 7 design techniques that you can use to create a garden bed. And as you can see here, right now, I just have nothing going on. My ladder's there because I just finished painting the shed, but this is where we're gonna put that design, and that, I don't know when it'll be, but it is gonna happen this year. So I'm excited to put that one in as well. So the goal is to get this one done, that one done, this one alongside the house, and then kind of wait on this outer part of it, and then that back area. So we are actually going to be doing 4 beds here this year, not to mention all the fun stuff that we're going to do out and about too. I actually just got hired to convert a parking lot into a fun area for an employee like lounge area. I'm pretty excited to do that. So I'll take you guys along as I do that one as well. So there you go, you guys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's spring. We haven't filled any pots, but I love all the tulips and the daffodils and just the new life of everything that's coming awake. And I like to chronicle kind of where I'm at now so that when we go through the summer and we start changing things up and we're progressing through the beds, you guys can come along and see those changes as well and hopefully learn some things about what I do to maintain a bed, to add to a bed that I already have, or maybe that you already have, or to create a brand new one and break ground. So I hope you enjoyed our tour today. I'm Michelle. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Keep on gardening. Bye, everybody.